She's 14 years old, sitting across from record executives in Nashville. They want to sign her. But there's a catch. They want to wait. Develop her. Make her fit their timeline. Taylor Swift looks them in the eye and says no. Not because she's arrogant, because she knows something they don't. She knows her time is now, and she's willing to bet everything on it. This is not a lucky break story. This is a revolution story. Picture this: a teenage girl from Pennsylvania who moved her entire family to Nashville because she believed in herself that much. Not hoped, believed. Most kids that age are figuring out algebra. Taylor was negotiating record deals, writing songs that would define a generation, and planning a career that would literally reshape how the music industry works. The executives thought they were signing a country singer. They had no idea they were signing the future. Here's what nobody tells you about Taylor Swift's rise. It wasn't organic. It wasn't accidental. It was strategic, calculated, and executed with military precision. While other teenage artists were letting labels mold them, Taylor was building a brand. While others were chasing trends, Taylor was creating them. While others were trying to fit in, Taylor was designing the entire game board. The first album drops. She's 16. Critics are skeptical. Country music purists say she's too pop. Pop critics say she's too country. She's caught between two worlds, and everyone's waiting for her to fail. But here's the thing about Taylor Swift. She doesn't exist between two worlds. She creates a third one, and that third world, it becomes the biggest world in music. Before we dive deeper into how she did it, hit that subscribe button. Because this story has more layers than you think. More strategy than most business schools teach. More guts than most people have in their entire lives. Let's get into it. The early songs are autobiographical, painfully so. She's writing about high school crushes, about feeling like an outsider, about the specific emotional granularity of being a teenage girl in America. And the industry doesn't know what to do with it. Because traditionally, songs are vague, universal. You're not supposed to name names. You're not supposed to be that specific. Taylor says screw that. She tells exact stories, and millions of girls hear their own stories reflected back. That's the first disruption. That's the first time Taylor Swift looked at how things were done and said why. Nobody had an answer. So she did it her way, and her way worked. The album goes platinum, then multi-platinum. Radio stations that refused to play her are now fighting for exclusives. Award shows that dismissed her as a teen act are now giving her trophies. But success at 16 comes with a price. The media starts watching, waiting, hunting for mistakes. And Taylor? She's still just a kid trying to navigate fame while also trying to finish growing up. The pressure is building. The expectations are mounting. And the second album is coming. And everyone's wondering the same thing. Was the first one a fluke? Drop a comment right now. Tell me, what was the first Taylor Swift song you heard? And be honest, did you judge her before you actually listened? Because that judgment, that dismissal, that's part of the story too. The second album would prove something crucial. Not just about Taylor's talent, about her business acumen, about her understanding of leverage and timing and the long game. Because Taylor Swift wasn't building a career. She was building an empire. And empires aren't built on luck. Taylor is 18 years old. The second album drops. It's called Fearless. And it doesn't just succeed. It dominates. It becomes the best-selling album of 2009. It wins Album of the Year at the Grammys. It makes Taylor Swift the youngest artist ever to win that award. But the commercial success isn't the story. The blueprint she creates is the story. Let's talk about what Fearless actually did. It cracked a code that the music industry had been trying to solve for decades. How do you appeal to everyone without appealing to no one? How do you be specific enough to be authentic, but universal enough to be massive? Taylor found the answer. Write stories so specific that they feel personal. but emotions so universal that everyone sees themselves in them. Every song is a movie, a 3.5-minute narrative with characters, conflict, resolution. She's not writing pop songs. She's writing short stories set to music. And the brilliance is in the details. The way she describes a moment, the specific outfit someone was wearing, the exact feeling of a particular night. That specificity makes it real. And real is what people had been starving for. But here's where the business genius shows up. While other artists are worried about being overexposed, Taylor is everywhere. Every interview, every award show, every radio station. She's accessible but not desperate, present but not overwhelming. She's building relationships with fans one by one, making each person feel seen, while simultaneously building the biggest fan base in music. The tour that follows is a masterclass in experience design. It's not just a concert, it's an event. Production value that rivals arena rock shows. Surprise guests. Moments designed specifically for fans to film and share. She's not just performing, she's creating content, creating memories, creating stories that fans will tell for years. This is 2009, remember? Instagram doesn't exist yet, but Taylor is already thinking in terms of shareability and viral moments. Critics start to notice something. The songs are simple. The chord progressions are straightforward. Nothing experimental or avant-garde. And they use that to dismiss her. It's not complex, they say. It's basic. What they miss is that simplicity is the strategy. Because complexity is impressive to critics. Simplicity is accessible to everyone. Taylor isn't writing for music theory professors. She's writing for people who just want to feel something. Hit that like button if you're seeing the strategy here. If you're realizing this wasn't luck, this was architecture. Now let's talk about what happened when the perfect image cracked. Then comes the 2009 VMAs. Taylor wins Best Female Video. She's on stage, shocked, grateful, giving her acceptance speech. And Kanye West interrupts her, takes the microphone, dismisses her moment, on live television, in front of millions. And in that moment, something shifts. Taylor Swift becomes more than a singer. She becomes a symbol of grace under pressure, of dignity in the face of disrespect. The way she handles it, the composure she maintains, it transforms her from successful artist to cultural phenomenon. But behind the scenes, according to later interviews, she's devastated. She's 19 years old. Her big moment got hijacked, and the world is watching to see how she'll respond. Will she fight back? Will she play victim? Will she let it define her? Taylor does none of those things. She keeps working, keeps writing, and turns that pain into fuel for the next evolution. Because here's what Taylor understands that most people don't. Controversy fades, but excellence compounds. The VMAs incident gave her attention, but attention without substance is just noise. She needed to prove the win was deserved, prove she belonged on that stage. And the only way to do that was to get even better. The third album is coming, and it's going to change everything. Taylor Swift does something unprecedented. She writes every single song on her third album completely alone. No co-writers, just her, a guitar, and stories she needs to tell. The album is called Speak Now, and the title is both a statement and a warning. She's speaking now, and everyone better listen. The industry thinks it's a mistake. Solo writing is risky. Conventional wisdom says you need a team, multiple perspectives, professional hitmakers. But Taylor rejects conventional wisdom. Because Speak Now isn't just an album. It's a message, a proof of concept, a declaration that she doesn't need anyone to put words in her mouth. She's got plenty of her own. Every song is a response. To critics, to ex-boyfriends. 2 moments in her life that demanded documentation. She's learned that her power isn't in being vague. It's in being specific. Brutally, courageously specific. People want to know who the songs are about. She lets them guess, lets them theorize. turns her life into a puzzle that millions want to solve. It's genius marketing disguised as vulnerability. The album debuts with over 1 million copies sold in the first week. But more importantly, it solidifies something crucial. Taylor Swift has complete creative control. She's not a puppet. She's not a product. She's an artist with vision and the power to execute that vision without interference. At 20 years old, she's got more autonomy than most artists achieve in their entire careers. But creative control is just the beginning. Behind the scenes, Taylor is learning the business, really learning it. She's in meetings with label executives, studying contracts, understanding publishing rights, master recordings, licensing deals. Most artists treat this stuff as boring background noise. Taylor treats it as essential education. And that education is about to pay off in ways nobody can predict. The tours are getting bigger. The stadiums are selling out. The merchandise is flying off shelves. But Taylor notices something. She's making millions, yes, but the label is making more. The streaming services are making more. Everyone's making money off her work, except her getting the biggest piece. That observation sits in the back of her mind, waiting, calculating. Comment below. Have you ever created something and watched other people profit more from it than you did? That feeling, that realization, it's about to drive the biggest power move in music history. Speak Now tours the world. More sold-out shows, more records broken, more proof that Taylor Swift isn't a phase or a trend. She's a force, and forces don't ask permission. They reshape everything around them. The country music world is getting nervous. She's too big for their genre now, too global, too pop. They're right to be nervous, because Taylor's about to leave country music behind completely. And when she does, she's taking their credibility with her. She's watching, learning, preparing. The next move isn't just an album. It's a reinvention, a risk that could destroy everything she's built or catapult her into a completely different stratosphere. And Taylor Swift, she's never been afraid of risks. She's been planning this since she was 14 years old in that record executive's office. The fourth album is coming, and it's going to burn the old Taylor to the ground. Red drops. And it's not a country album with pop influences. It's not a pop album with country influences. It's something new entirely. It's Taylor Swift saying, "I don't fit in your boxes, so I'm building my own." The album is chaotic, emotional, experimental. It's heartbreak as a concept album. And it's brilliant. But the brilliance isn't just musical. It's strategic. Taylor is transitioning, slowly, carefully, testing how far she can push before her core audience rebels. Red is the bridge. It keeps one foot in country radio while extending the other foot toward pure pop. Critics call it messy, unfocused. They miss the point entirely. The mess is intentional. The unfocus is strategic. She's showing range, proving she can do anything. The lead single works country radio. The second single works pop radio. The third single works both. She's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. Radio programmers don't know how to categorize her anymore, so they just play her. Everywhere, all the time. She's too big to ignore, too popular to gatekeep. She's transcended genre by refusing to respect its boundaries. The Red Tour is where Taylor becomes untouchable. The production is massive. The costume changes are theatrical. The set list is a journey through different musical styles. She's proving night after night that she's not just a country singer who can sing pop. She's a performer, an entertainer, a showwoman who can command any stage in any style. The reviews are unanimous. This is a superstar. But behind the spectacle, Taylor is making notes, mental calculations. The tour makes over $150 million. She sees the numbers, understands the leverage, knows that she's reached a point where she doesn't need the industry as much as the industry needs her. That realization is dangerous because it means she's about to start making demands. And those demands are going to change everything. She's also paying attention to streaming. Spotify is growing. Apple Music is launching. The whole distribution model is shifting. Artists are panicking. Revenues are dropping. But Taylor sees opportunity. She sees a game that hasn't been played yet, rules that haven't been written. And Taylor Swift? She's really good at writing rules. Smash that subscribe button because what happens next is the boldest move in music business history. And you don't want to miss how she pulled it off. The critics savage Red for not winning Album of the Year at the Grammys. They say she got snubbed, that the Academy doesn't respect her. But Taylor doesn't see it as a loss. She sees it as motivation, proof that she needs to go bigger, bolder, so undeniable that they have no choice but to recognize her. The next album won't be a bridge between genres. It will be a complete transformation. She starts working with new producers, pop producers, Max Martin, Shellback, the hitmakers behind the biggest pop songs in the world. The country music world feels betrayed. She's abandoning us, they say. But Taylor isn't abandoning anything. She's outgrowing it. There's a difference, and that difference is about to make her the biggest pop star on the planet. The preparation is meticulous. The rebranding is surgical. Every detail is controlled. Every message is crafted. Because when you're about to execute the biggest genre switch in music history, you can't afford mistakes. And Taylor Swift doesn't make mistakes. She makes calculated risks that look like instinct. The fifth album is coming, and it's going to detonate. October 27th, 2014. 1989 is released. Taylor Swift is officially a pop star. Not country pop, not pop country. Pure, unfiltered, unapologetic pop music. And the gamble pays off spectacularly. The album sells 1.28 million copies in its first week. That's in 2014, when everyone said album sales were dead. Taylor Swift just resurrected them through sheer force of will and perfect execution. But the commercial success is just the surface. What 1989 really represents is freedom. Freedom from genre constraints, freedom from industry expectations, freedom to be exactly who she wants to be. She's not asking permission anymore. She's not apologizing. She's declaring, "This is who I am now. Deal with it." And the world dealt with it by making her the biggest star in music. The singles dominate. Every release is a cultural moment. The videos are events. The performances are spectacles. But what's fascinating is the control. Every aspect of the rollout is Taylor's vision. The aesthetic, the messaging, the timing. She's not just the artist. She's the executive producer, the marketing director, the brand manager. She's running her career like a Fortune 500 company. And it's working. Then comes the power move that defines her legacy. November 2014. Taylor pulls her entire catalog from Spotify, just removes it. The biggest artist in the world says no to the biggest streaming platform in the world. The industry freaks out. She's making a mistake. She's out of touch. She's going to lose a whole generation of fans. But Taylor sees what they don't. She sees that free streaming devalues music, and she refuses to participate. The think pieces write themselves. Is Taylor Swift killing streaming? Is Taylor Swift greedy? The discourse misses the point entirely. This isn't about greed. It's about value, about artists being compensated fairly for their work. Taylor is using her leverage to fight for every artist who doesn't have her platform. She's picking a fight with a multi-billion-dollar company, and she's winning. Drop a comment. Do you think artists deserve to control where their music is available? Or should music be free for everyone? This debate defined the industry for years. The 1989 tour is the highest grossing tour of 2015. Over $250 million. And it's not just the money. It's the production, the surprise guests, the fan interactions. Taylor brings out celebrities, fellow musicians, creates moments designed to go viral. She understands that a concert in 2015 isn't just about the people in the arena. It's about the millions watching clips online. She's creating content, not just performances. At the 2015 Grammys, 1989 wins Album of the Year. Taylor becomes the first woman to win that award twice. But the acceptance speech isn't about the win. It's a message about ownership, about control, about young women not letting anyone diminish their accomplishments. People think it's aimed at Kanye. It's not. It's aimed at every person who ever told a woman she didn't deserve her success. It's Taylor using the biggest stage in music to send a message to millions of girls. You earned this. Don't let anyone take it from you. But while Taylor is celebrating, a war is brewing. A war over respect, over credit, over who gets to tell her story. And that war is about to explode into the most public feud in music history. Everything falls apart. One phone call recording changes everything. Taylor Swift goes from America's sweetheart to America's villain overnight. The machine she built so carefully is being used against her. And she does something she's never done before. She disappears. 1 year of complete silence. No social media, no statements, no appearances. People think she's done. They don't understand Taylor Swift. Because Taylor doesn't rebuild. She reinvents. August 2017, she wipes her social media clean. Every post deleted. The internet loses its mind. Its strategy. She's creating a vacuum. When she fills it, everyone will pay attention. The first single drops. And it's not an apology. It's a declaration of war. The old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why? 'Cause she's dead. She killed her own image. On purpose. The person everyone hated was never real anyway. It was a construction. And now she's deconstructing it in real time. Reputation drops November 2017. Dark, angry, honest in ways Taylor has never been before. She's addressing the backlash, the feuds, the media circus, but also revealing something deeper. The cost of fame, the isolation, the exhaustion of perfection. For the first time, she's admitting vulnerability is strength, not weakness. The album sells 2 million copies in its first week. The tour becomes the highest-grossing U.S. tour ever at $345 million. People who wrote her off are scrambling to explain how they got it so wrong. But they missed the play. Taylor never needed to be liked by everyone. She needed to be undeniable. And reputation made her undeniable. Hit that like button if you've ever had to reinvent yourself after everything fell apart. Because what Taylor does next changes the game completely. But while everyone focuses on the spectacle, Taylor is working on something revolutionary. The Reputation era proves she can survive anything. Now she's ready to fight for something bigger than comeback. She's ready to fight for ownership. And that fight will change the music industry forever. June 2019. Taylor's worst nightmare comes true. Her old label sells her masters, the recordings of her first 6 albums, to someone she explicitly asked them not to. She finds out from the news, not from the label, from the internet, like everyone else. The post she writes is volcanic. She explains what masters are, why they matter, how she tried to buy them back, how they refused. And in that post, she does something revolutionary. She educates millions about music business, about ownership, about how artists are routinely exploited. Taylor weaponized her fan base's love into industry scrutiny. It's brilliant and terrifying. But education isn't enough. Taylor announces her plan. She's going to re-record everything. Every album, every song. Create new masters that she owns completely. It sounds impossible, sounds crazy. Established artists don't re-record their classics. Taylor says, watch me. If she pulls this off, she creates a roadmap for every artist trapped in a bad deal. If she fails, she becomes a cautionary tale. The risk is enormous. The reward is revolution. Comment your thoughts. Should artists own their work? Or should labels keep masters since they invested? This question is reshaping the entire industry. Before re-recording, she needs new music. Music she owns from day one. The pandemic hits, tours cancel, the industry panics. Taylor? She's writing. She calls producer Aaron Dessner. They start creating in isolation, building an album remotely. July 2020, with less than 24 hours notice, she announces Folklore. It drops at midnight. No promo, no singles. Just suddenly. Here's a masterpiece. The album is indie folk, storytelling, character studies. She's 30 years old, completely reinventing herself again. Critics who dismissed her as a pop star now call her a serious artist. She wins Album of the Year at the Grammys. Third time. First woman ever. 5 months later, she drops Evermore. A sister album. 2 surprise albums in 1 year. Both critically acclaimed. Both proof the traditional release cycle is dead. April 2021. Fearless, Taylor's version, drops. The first re-recording. Fans immediately switch to the new version. Radio stations switch. The originals become irrelevant overnight. She's weaponized fan loyalty into business strategy. And she doesn't stop there. She includes vault tracks, songs from the original sessions never released. 6 brand new songs. The new version is objectively better than the original. It's marketing genius, wrapped in creative expansion. November 2021. Red, Taylor's version, includes a 10-minute version of her most famous song. It becomes the longest song ever to hit #1. She's not just re-recording. She's rewriting history. Each re-release proves the originals don't matter anymore. She's making her stolen masters worthless while increasing her own net worth. It's the most elegant revenge in music history. No lawsuits, just excellence that makes the theft irrelevant. But while reclaiming her past, she's building her future. And that future involves the biggest tour in music history. Here's what Folklore proves. Taylor was never limited by genre. She was limited by perception. The moment she stopped proving herself in pop's terms and started creating on her own terms, she made her best work. And 5 months later, December 2020, she drops Evermore. A sister album. Same vibe, different stories. 2 surprise albums in 1 year. Both critically acclaimed. Both proof that the traditional release cycle is dead. You don't need months of promotion if the music is good and the artist has the platform. Taylor built a platform so strong she can drop albums with no warning and dominate. That's power. While creating indie folk masterpieces, she's preparing for war. The re-recording plan moves forward. April 2021. Fearless, Taylor's version, drops. The parenthetical is genius, legally distinct, clear, and it sends a message. This is mine. This is my story. This is my version. Fans immediately switch to streaming the new version. Radio switches to playing it. The originals become irrelevant overnight. Taylor proved fans care more about supporting the artist than the original recording. She weaponized fan loyalty into business strategy. And she doesn't stop there. She includes vault tracks, songs from original sessions never released. 6 brand new songs with each re-recording, making the new version objectively better. You want the complete story? You need Taylor's version. Hit subscribe because the next move is even bolder. And you're going to want to see how she completes this takeover. November 2021. Red, Taylor's version, drops. It's not just an album, it's a cultural event. The vault includes a 10-minute version of her most famous song. Fans lose their minds. It debuts at #1. The 10-minute song becomes the longest ever to hit #1. She's not just re-recording, she's rewriting history. The re-recordings reveal something critics missed first time around. These songs are better than anyone gave her credit for. The writing is sharper, the melodies more intricate, the storytelling more sophisticated. Strip away production trends, and what's left is craftsmanship. Pure, undeniable craftsmanship. Taylor is proving she wasn't a product of her time. She was defining her time. Each re-release is an event proving the originals don't matter anymore. She's systematically making her old masters worthless while increasing her own net worth. It's the most elegant revenge in music history. No lawsuits, no public feuds, just excellent work that makes the stolen property irrelevant. She's winning by being better, and that's the most satisfying kind of victory. But while reclaiming her past, she's building her future. And that future involves the biggest tour in music history. March 2023. Taylor announces the Eras Tour, a 3.5-hour journey through her entire career. Every album, every era, every version of herself. The demand crashes Ticketmaster. Literally crashes it. Millions trying to buy tickets simultaneously. The chaos leads to Senate hearings about monopolies and ticketing practices. Taylor Swift caused congressional testimony just by announcing a tour. The numbers are incomprehensible. Over $1 billion in ticket sales. The first tour ever to gross over $1 billion. But it's not just money. It's economic impact. Every city she visits sees measurable boost. Hotels book up, restaurants fill, local economies surge. Economists create a term, the Swift effect. One person, one tour, creating economic ripples across entire metropolitan areas. The show is a technical marvel. Stage design transforming for each era. Costume changes representing different versions of herself. Production value rivaling Super Bowl halftime shows. Every single night. For months. She's not just performing. She's creating an experience justifying the expense, effort, and emotional investment fans put into being there. She films it, makes it a movie. Taylor Swift, the Eras Tour, becomes the highest-grossing concert film of all time. Over $250 million at the box office. She bypassed traditional studio distribution, negotiated directly with AMC, kept more profits. Again. Because why follow rules when you can write new ones? Comment below. Did you go to the Eras Tour or watch the movie? What era is your era? Let's celebrate all the versions of Taylor. The cultural impact is impossible to quantify. 3 generations of fans experiencing this together. Friendship bracelets, themed outfits, community. Taylor didn't just create a concert. She created a movement, a phenomenon transcending music, becoming about connection, joy, and shared experience. The tour proves loyalty matters more than algorithms. Taylor built her career on genuine connection with fans, making people feel seen. When it came time to show up, millions showed up. Not because of TikTok virality, because she spent 17 years making them feel they mattered. They returned that energy in the form of the biggest tour in history. October 2022, during the tour, Midnight's drops. Another #1 album. More records broken. She becomes the first artist to occupy the entire top 10 of Billboard Hot 100 simultaneously. All 10 spots. That's not success. That's dominance. That's saturation. That's Taylor showing even at her peak, she can still break new ground. Through all this, she's still re-recording. Speak Now, Taylor's version, drops in 2023. Then, 1989, Taylor's version. Each one an event. Each one proof she's not just surviving the music industry. She's redefining it, showing every artist you don't have to accept the terms you're given. You can fight. You can win. But you have to bet on yourself. And Taylor? She's been betting on herself since she was 14. So here we are. Taylor Swift is more than a musician. She's a brand, an economy, a cultural force. Estimated net worth over $1 billion. The first musician to reach billionaire status primarily through music and performing. Not fashion lines, not business ventures, just music. The art itself being so valuable, it creates a fortune. The re-recordings continue. 2 albums left to reclaim. When she's done, she'll own her entire catalog. Every song, every recording, every piece of her story. She'll have done something unprecedented. Fully taken back work, stolen from her. and created a blueprint for every artist who comes after. The message is clear: fight for ownership. It's worth it. But the legacy isn't just business, it's cultural. Taylor changed how we talk about music, artists, and women in the industry. She made autobiographical songwriting the norm, proved vulnerability and specificity wasn't weakness. It was a superpower. Millions of singer-songwriters exist now because Taylor showed them it was possible. She changed the power dynamic between artists and labels. Before Taylor's fight, most artists didn't understand masters. Now, it's part of the conversation. Young artists negotiate ownership from the start. Labels can't bury details in fine print because everyone's paying attention. Taylor used her platform to change the system for everyone. That's not just success. That's legacy. The touring model is different because of her. Surprise album drops are normalized because of her. Direct-to-fan communication is standard because she pioneered it. Artists re-recording catalogs is viable because she proved it works. Look at the music industry in 2024, and you'll see Taylor's fingerprints on everything. Hit that subscribe button one last time. Because this isn't the end. This is the middle. Taylor's only in her mid-30s. She's got decades left. And if the past is any indication, she's just getting started. Drop a comment. What's the most important lesson you learned from Taylor's journey? What moment inspired you to take a risk or stand up for yourself? Beyond business and records and money, there's something else. Taylor made it okay to grow up in public, to change, to evolve, to be different versions of yourself. She's been a country singer, pop star, indie folk artist. She's been America's sweetheart and villain and comeback story. Through all of it, she's been herself. The young girls who grew up with her learned something crucial. You don't have to be one thing. You can contain multitudes, sweet and fierce, vulnerable and powerful. You can make mistakes and still deserve success. That's the real gift. Not just the music. The gift is permission. Permission to be complicated. Permission to evolve. Permission to be human. Taylor redefined success. It's not just charts or awards. It's autonomy, ownership, building something that lasts, having power to make decisions about your own work, creating on your timeline. She showed a generation that the old metrics, fame, money, validation, matter less than creative control and personal integrity. The 14-year-old who walked into that meeting and said no is the same person who pulled her catalog from Spotify, who announced she was re-recording, who built a billion-dollar empire. That core trait, the willingness to bet on herself, hasn't changed. It's just gotten more sophisticated. The empire is built. The legacy is secured. But the story's still being written. One song at a time.